Hello, this week we're going to be making and rigging a cannon. This is not necessary, but I've turned on tab for pie menu and extra shader pie menu items. Right, starting off, we'll start with a cylinder that has 8 sides and we're going to remove the top and bottom faces. Then we're going to move the cylinder up 1 unit with snapping. Then extrude out the bottom faces and change our snapping to grid and square this out. If you want to attach this to another mesh, you can just use these points here. Next, let's edge crease these edges and then subdivide the mesh. I'll add some more edge loops around here, and then we can just turn on the shade smooth. Now for the upper half, we're going to duplicate this mesh and remove the bottom parts here. Extrude these faces along the normal, and then we're going to delete the top faces as well as the inner faces before creasing the bottom edge. Now we're going to square this off. The top edge will be extruded out, then its outer vertexes will be snapped into a square like this. Then we're going to extrude these edges up and fill in the top. Then we can bevel one edge. Next, we're going to need to insert some edge loops here to square off these faces. Now I'll remove half the mesh and mirror it over before cutting in edges here and making sure that I square off the top and bottom. Apply the mirror modifier and then bevel these edges, making sure to square off the faces. Then selecting these faces and extruding them along the normals so that they are recessed. Now that we have the model done, we can subdivide the mesh and start edge creasing as well. I'm going to lower the turret part down as well as making adjustments when needed. With that done, we can add the cannons. Start off with a cylinder with 8 sides and then lower its radius down to 0.1. Then we can move this into place by switching it into edit mode and moving it up so that it matches its origin. And then back over in object mode, we can rotate this 90 degrees and move it to line up with the slots that we made earlier. Now let's make this longer and add an edge loop, then extrude these faces out, as well as extruding the end cap in. And then we can subdivide this mesh and start creasing the edges and removing the unneeded faces. Then duplicate the cannon and fill in the other gaps. Now if we join the cannons together, we can start animating them, but I think I'll add a rig. Start off in a single bone, and in pose mode, make sure to turn on in front so that we can see the bone. This bone will be the main body. Then over in edit mode, we can duplicate this bone and then snap it to the ends of the cannon. We can duplicate the cannon's bone, one for each cannon that we have, and then parent them back to the main body's bone. And make sure that we name these bones. Then select all the parts of the mesh, making sure to select the rig last, and then parent them together with Alt-P, selecting with empty groups. Then we can assign the mesh to the respective groups like so. Now let's create some controllers. In edit mode, copy the cannon bone and rename it. Then back over in pose mode, we can add some bone constraints to the cannons of the type copy rotation. The target will be the armature, and the bone will be our controller. We only need the x-axis for this. The target will be the local space, and the owner will be owner with parent, and do this for each cannon bone. And then we can add a limit rotation to this controller, and then just fine tune it in to how high or low you need your cannons to turn. And with that, we are done. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.